Hi everyone, welcome back to the Model 3 Man channel. Now you'll remember that in the last episode I took 11.4.3 for a ride, put it through its paces, and I listed some of the good, some of the bad, and one item that was ugly about Full Self-Driving Beta 11.4.3. And I told you that 11.4.4 was waiting to be installed in the car. Well, I installed it. I went out for a drive, and this morning I'm going to show you the results. I plotted a course that had traffic circles, traffic lights, intersections, steep, sharp, windy roads, basically everything you could wish to throw it at, including freeway driving. And it's very interesting to see just how it did on 11.4.4. But before that, yesterday was Father's Day, and I hear all of you cry, no, it wasn't. It was a week back that it was Father's Day. Yes, but in the Levy household, because my girls were otherwise unavoidably engaged, Father's Day was deferred by 1 week. And I had it yesterday. And what a surprise. In the past, they've always made or bought some small, interesting little gift that they thought that I'd like. And this Father's Day, I could never have imagined what they would get up to. So Jillian hands me a box wrapped up in a bow. I undo it. I open it up, and this is what I got. A customized Model 3 Man t-shirt. I've never, ever made a t-shirt for the channel, but Jillian went onto the web and grabbed the logo from some of my earlier episodes, sent it off online to possibly Vistaprint, and here it is. And on the back is a big red Tesla T. Let's turn around and you can see it. There we go. I got the best daughters in the world. I mean, I hope they don't listen to this episode, but I really appreciate them. What a Father's Day celebration it was. So coming back to 11.4.4, what you're going to see now is a slightly edited version of the trip. I'm not cutting out any sections where the car misbehaved, where I had to disengage, or I had to intervene. You're going to get to see what 11.4.4 is capable of, and I think you'll be surprised. So let's get in the car and off we go. Okay, we're testing 11.4.4. I'm going to get onto Lynn Valley Road before I engage Full Self-Driving. So at this point here, I'm getting onto Lynn Valley Road and I'm going to engage, double tap. There you can hear it. And yeah, right now we're on autopilot. Not going to show you every single step of the journey because it's boring. I'm going to go to any time we approach an intersection or the lights or a turnoff or a roundabout, all kinds of interesting things, and I will not hide any disengagements that I have to make. Not only disengagements, but interventions where I might, for example, put my foot on the accelerator to speed up a little. So we're coming up to the lights on Mountain, and the car will go across the intersection and move into the right-hand lane because it knows that we have to turn right to get onto the freeway. So don't be surprised if we're going straight and then it just veers off into the right-hand lane. It's quite acceptable because there are no cars that can be behind us. There is only one lane going into two lanes. Okay, and the car picks up speed and watch it move to the right. Look at that. Should it indicate? I don't know, because if it indicated, it might be taken by the person behind us to think we're going up Mountain Highway, which we're not. We're simply moving into the right-hand lane. So difficult one that. As a person, I would also tend to not indicate there because I am ahead, cars are behind me, and I can move to the right immediately if I like. Now we're coming up to three more sets of lights. Generally, I find them to be red. I never have good luck with lights on this road. It's a very slow way of doing it. I often take Mountain Highway and go down to the freeway the other way. I'm finding that 11.4.4 is very smooth, by which I mean that slowdowns and takeoffs are very much like a human would do. There's no wild braking or wild accelerating. It just moves purposefully, and it feels... when Janine was sitting in the seat here, which she's not right now, but when she was, she didn't notice that it was on Full Self-Driving. And after 20 minutes, I said to her, you know the car's been driving itself? She says, I didn't realize. It just felt like you were. So, does the car get to know the driver and mimic its behavior? I don't think so. I don't think that the AI has developed to that point, but it's becoming much more human in general terms. Here we come into a green light. It's quite amazing. Lovely. And through the next lights, and then we have to turn right to get onto Route 1, reminding me to keep my hands on the wheel. In any case, I have to keep my hand on the wheel or keep rolling these control wheels down there. Coming up to the glide off, which then is the on-ramp to the freeway. So let's see what happens. We will be traveling westerly, which is toward the ocean. And of course, there could be bikes in the bike lane, but I don't see any behind or alongside. So the car is going to turn. Beautiful. That's it. It waits a little bit just to see that there's no one coming in from the other lane. And then it picks up speed. It changes to 88. I'm going to push it up a little bit more because nobody drives at 80. Oh, now this is tricky. This is very tricky. So what are we going to do here? Oh, it managed to get in. That's excellent. The car, I must say that the truck deferred to us and pulled back a little bit, which is great. He should have done so even before that. So we're behind a Cruise Canada trailer home. I'm wondering whether the car will indicate and go left, but then, yeah, it is. There we go. And it accelerates. Now that's very good. So it indicated to move into the fast lane, and it accelerated to make that change. So we don't have to worry now. It's going to move into the right lane as soon as it feels it's necessary. We are taking the Capilano turnoff, which is about 3 kilometers from here. So no big deal and no rush. The car moved quite smoothly into the middle lane. Of course, the right-hand lane is going to merge eventually, so it makes sense for Red Dragon to remain in the lane that we're currently in. And you can see it's beginning to merge right here. And you know what's interesting? Red Dragon used to move aggressively to the middle of this very wide area. It didn't. It stayed close to the dotted white line in the center of the road. And that's great, because that's what a human does. We don't wander across to the right just because the road gets wider. We stick to the dotted white line and keep a straight path. It did it. So 11.4.4 definitely handles that well. Now we are coming up to the turnoff in about 900 meters, so just a little less than a kilometer. And this has been a challenging turnoff at times in the past, when we glide off and then it has to get right very quickly. Oh, this is going to be... Oh, look at that. Model 3 saw that car wanting to come in here and it sped up. It actually increased speed so that that guy wouldn't get any ideas. That's exactly what a human would do. You'd speed up so that the other guy doesn't think, oh, I can jump in here. It didn't pull back. Now we're turning off. Car indicates properly and well in advance. Moves across into the off-ramp. Now it has to stay to the right. Choosing the right fork to stay en route. Beautiful. And there it is. And it does it early. Oh my goodness, this is becoming very scarily like a human being. Okay, it's coming through. It might slow down or stop there a little. And then it looks for cars, doesn't see them, and it moves on. There's a bus ahead, of course, in our lane. But we do have a turning. We do have a turn-off coming up soon. So I think it's going to stay behind the bus as long as the bus keeps to more or less the speed limit. Oh, now the bus is... Uh-oh, this is interesting. The bus is stopping. And there's... It can't just... Oh, it can. Yeah, and it does. It noticed that the cars behind had stopped for the traffic light, and so there was no problem with it jumping ahead of the bus, which it did. I didn't have to intervene. Now we're traveling up the hill, and as you can see there, There's a little way to go before it turns right, but that's fine. We're moving and the lights go orange. So this is a different route that it's taken me before, and that's fine. I'm happy with that. It plans it, I think, according to the shortest possible time, not necessarily distance, but certainly time. So I have found that when the lights turn to green, the vehicle begins moving almost immediately. So we'll have a look here. There we go. The minute it turned green, it was as fast on its reactions as I would be if a light turned green. Lights ahead have just gone amber and then red, so we're obviously going to be slowing down. Looks like all my cameras still working. GoPro there, and phone here. And this is the famous Capilano suspension bridge, but they charge you. And right behind our house is the Lynn Canyon suspension bridge, and they don't charge us. So here we go. It's looking and seeing the people there, but they didn't make any effort to get into the pedestrian crossing, so we're good. Now, this is a pretty windy back road, this. So, and there's a car pulling out. Oh my goodness. Red Dragon didn't even flinch. It looked at the trajectory and the speed of the other car. It realized the car would be out of our lane by the time we got anywhere near, and it just carried on. It did not slow down. I'm loving this. So, yeah, now we're going to be... Oh, there's a black Model 3 on the right. Going through a flashing green light. It doesn't even hesitate. It knows that that's just as good as a regular green light. The road curves now to the right, and the speed limit drops to 30, or 30 recommended. So it doesn't have to go 30. In fact, we end about 41, and that's fine. It's only a recommended speed. So now we're turning pretty sharp left, and we have a right turn coming up soon. Go past this road on the left, and then I think it's the next one on the right. So we have to watch. Does it indicate? Yes, it does, and it moves across the bike lane to get into the turning zone, and it turns. Wow! Oh my gosh. Okay, so far no disengagements and no interventions. And look at that. It pulled right out across the yellow line because that Canada Post van was parked pretty much in the lane, and we're going to turn right here at the stop sign. Moves out a little bit because of the curb. Sees no one there. Makes a big, wide right turn. We're going to be turning to the right one more time. Coming up soon. It's here. Very narrow little lane, and it makes that turn just beautiful. Now we've got a car. Oh no, I thought the car was coming, but it turned off a different road. So the car goes right into the middle because there are parked cars on either side. So there is a Purelator truck ahead with flashing lights. So I'm thinking that Red Dragon will slow down or move right across. Yeah, there we go, slowing down. Coming around carefully. I'm going to disengage and stop right here, because we're basically at our destination. I cannot tell you how exciting this is. I left home and we traveled maybe 7-8 kilometers, but through a series of traffic lights, double lane, single lane scenarios, onto the freeway, off ramps, on ramps, choosing the correct lane, taking account of parked cars, cars that are almost in the lane. Not a single disengagement and not a single intervention. I did not have to press the accelerator. I didn't have to do anything. It was uncanny. It was so scary. Is this the one? I don't think so. I mean, I can tell you how I could trip it up. If I went into some of the construction zones that we have here with cones all over the place, I can promise you that even this version will get itself slightly confused. But for roads that are marked, that are in good repair, without cones all over the place, this is basically it. Point-to-point driving. Successful driving. No need to disengage or to intervene. I've never had a drive like this. I'm thrilled, so we'll go back to Peter in the studio. Over the weekend, I also watched a video on the Tesla Dojo, that supercomputer, which is increasing in computing power all the time, and which is the basis of the AI in our vehicles advancing so rapidly. And all it's going to do is keep advancing at an even more rapid rate. 2.5, 3 years ago, I was somewhat doubtful about whether full self-driving could actually become a reality. And today, no, I'm no longer doubtful. I know it's not a question of if it will, but when it will. Now, that doesn't mean that there will be some edge cases. For this scenario, getting from one place to another on actual roads, even untarred roads, FSD is going to succeed, and it's almost there. It's still the month of June, and I believe that the referral code system, where if you're buying a Tesla, you benefit by getting credits, or if you're buying an S or an X, you get $1,000 off. If you use a referral code, I'd love that to be my referral code. It's down here. But if you click in the description field, click on this link, it takes you straight to the purchase and configuration site where you can choose any Tesla, any configuration, and go ahead and make your purchase. So if you do that, you benefit, I benefit, and I thank you for that. I'll see you next time. Cheers for now.